Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Namaste everyone. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. So with that sloka, again we are coming back to Bharata Kathāśravaṇam. We'll all remember this amazing story, the amazing work of Vedavyasa. So we are in Sabha Parva. Last time we spoke about the Sisupala Vadha. How after all that provocation, finally the end of Sisupala happened at the divine hands of Sri Krishna through Sudarshana Chakra, and how Sisupala merged into Sri Krishna. And so with that whole episode, extraordinary episode, ended in the Rajasuya Yaga. Rajasuya Yaga was completed, and all the people praised the greatness of Dharmaraja, and Sri Krishna also went back to Dwaraka. All the relatives, friends, everybody, and all the kings who had come, everybody went back. And then, in the extraordinary sequence that then followed, Duryodhana first, he stayed back because he was so fascinated, so amazed by this Sabha. He had never seen such a palace before that he had seen with this Maya Sabha that was built for Dharmaraja. He was, with his fascination for wealth and with his attachment to wealth and splendor, he was totally amazed. He wanted to see it more. He wanted to enjoy it more. So he stayed back, and with him stayed his uncle, his maternal uncle Shakuni, also stayed back with him, and both of them continued for some more time as guests of Pandavas in Maya Sabha. So once he was going on, Duryodhana was going and surveying all these different parts of this extraordinary Sabha, and somewhere in the middle of that palace, he got into some regions which were very, very amazing and even confusing. One place he thought it was an open area. He thought it was a closed area, that there is nothing there, it's only a painting, but it was actually an open area. The perspectives were so beautifully placed that he thought it's just a painting. It was so perfect. So he didn't go there thinking it is just a painting, but it was actually a garden and a beautiful area. Another area, he thought it's a beautiful garden and he tried to go in there. He thought it was an entrance to a beautiful garden. It was just a painting. It was a decoration on the wall. So he hit his head against the threshold, thinking if it's a place, he tried to go in and he hit his head against the wall. And another place, he thought it was level. Although it was a level land, it seemed like it was sloping upwards. So he tried to climb like that and almost fell down because he was thinking he's climbing a slope. And another place, he saw a beautiful lake, and he thought, let me enter this lake. And he pulled his clothes up and everything carefully, wanted to step into the lake. And then he realized it was just a painting on the floor. It was a beautiful, full of jewels and decorations and all that. They had made it so perfect. Looked like a lake, but it was not a lake. Then another place, he thought it was a painting, and it was just a similar thing. And he stepped into it without even being careful, and he fell into the lake, which was full of water, and he got all wet. He fell down. And seeing that as he fell down from a distance, Draupadi and some of the Pandava brothers were there. They saw this happen, and they started laughing at him. And he became very, very ashamed and insulted. And in the meanwhile, Dharmaraja realized that he had fallen down, and immediately through Bhima, he sent beautiful clothes and ornaments as a gift to him, and said, please, sorry this happened. Very, very sorry. Apologize to him and give him the clothes. So Bhima went and gave him the clothes and all that. He wore that, but he was feeling so ashamed and insulted that he said, no, I can't stay here anymore. And he left. And he went back to Hastinapura. But then there, his mind was so restless. He lost all his peace. He was just extremely engulfed and overcome with jealousy, shame, and anger. He was terribly jealous. He was one who really craved for wealth and splendor, and he saw such wealth and splendor. So he was not talking to anybody. He was just brooding and brooding. Then his mama Shakuni came to him and he said, "What happened? Why are you like this? You are such a great prince." Then Duryodhana said, "What can I say? Those people, they become so wealthy. What can I do?" I remember during those Rajasuya Yaga days, there was an automated Shanka. It was an automated Shanka which will blow automatically whenever 1 lakh, that means 100,000 Brahmanas are fed. Whenever 100,000 Brahmanas feeding is completed, Bhojana is completed, that will blow automatically. That Shanka would not stop blowing throughout the Rajasuya Yaga days. Every minute it was blowing. That much dana they did. What kind of wealth these people have now? They are able to donate so much. I can't stand this splendor of the Pandavas. Then Shakuni said, "Oh, my dear nephew, why are you feeling sad like that while I am here to take care of you? I will get it all back for you. Don't worry about them. Just invite Dharmaraja to a game of dice, to a game of Juda. And I am a master of this Juda. And Dharmaraja likes Juda. He has a weakness for playing this game of dice and gambling. So invite him. I will snatch away all his wealth and give it to you." So this Duralochana, this deceitful conspiracy, both of them came up with. Then, but to do this, Duryodhana has to get the permission of Dhritarashtra. So he goes to his father and says, "I'm very sad, this and that. Then I can't stand this. Those people have all these things. I don't have anything. What are you doing for me?" Like that, he complains to his father. Dhritarashtra feels very sad, seeing his son very sad. He has a tremendous attachment and weakness for his son, Duryodhana. So he says, "They have a palace, you don't worry. I will get an amazing palace built for you." Then putting all the wealth, because he is the emperor, biggest emperor, employing so much wealth and everything, and employing 1,000 amazing shilpis. He gets an amazing Sabha. So this is in this Sabha Parva, another Sabha comes up now. This is the palace that Dhritarashtra gets built for Duryodhana. And then Duryodhana says, Duryodhana and Shakuni keep on basically influencing Dhritarashtra's mind. Invite them to a game of Juda. We want to play Juda with them. Dhritarashtra knows there is a deceit there, but then he has his weakness for his son. So he starts agreeing. And so after the palace is built, he calls his minister Vidura and says, "Vidura, you go and invite Pandavas to this new palace, because we are inaugurating this new palace, Duryodhana's Sabha. Invite them, and also invite them to come and visit this palace, and also tell them that I've invited them to a game of Juda, so that we can all enjoy and play a game of Juda." So, but Vidura realizes immediately what they are trying to do. Being a very, very wise minister, and always Vidura Niti, he always follows Niti. So Vidura says, this is bad desire that is driving this kind of action. This desire is very, very, very dangerous. It's like a disease that destroys the one in whom it is born. It is like a cancer. It will just completely destroy the whole body. Please stop this, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is also his brother, and yeah, so he advises him. But Dhritarashtra doesn't agree. He still sends him. So Vidura goes as the ambassador of the Dhritarashtra, goes and invites the Pandavas. And when he invites like this, come your Dhritarashtra, he is like a father to them, right? The emperor is inviting you for this Sabha, and he wants you all to play, Dharmaraja, he wants you to play a game of Juda. And Dharmaraja says, why? Why should we do a Juda when seeing a palace? Why are we inviting like this? Vidura can't answer. That is the order of the king. So already Dharmaraja is suspicious, but they go. They go to the Sabha, they see all, they invite everybody, they all meet and they pay their reverence to Bhishma, Drona, and all the great Kripacharya and all the great people, and to, of course, to Dhritarashtra. And when they are all relaxed after seeing the palace, then Duryodhana invites Dharmaraja, let us play a game of Juda. Dharmaraja says, deceit and Juda, having dishonesty and Juda, these are to be renounced by kings. They should not be practiced by kings. That is the Dharma, Dharmic teaching. All Dharmic kings should not play Juda. I might have played now and then, but as a king, I should not be playing Juda. And dishonesty and Juda are not prescribed. They are shunned for Dharmic kings. And he also says, but Dharmaraja always thinks of what is Dharma, what do the scriptures say, what do great people say. So he also quotes Asita Devala, who said, Maya Dyuta is Mahapapa. If you do deceitful game of Juda, that is a Mahapapa. But Dharma Dyuta is like Dharma Yuddha. That is all. He gives that quotation also. And he says, so we should avoid Juda, especially if it is deceitful Juda. Then Shakuni is sitting with Duryodhana. He says, Dharmaraja, what are you saying? Those who are weak, when they want to conquer those who are strong, use all kinds of mayas. And still the victory, if they get victory, it is their victory only. It is still their victory. So like this, they start getting into very crooked arguments about what is Dharma and what is Adharma. So Duryodhana, Shakuni all start getting into Kutarka, the bad logic, trying to justify something that is wrong and dishonest. So then there, Dhritarashtra, everybody is there. Then Dharmaraja realizes the situation. He realizes from the beginning they have called me here. This is a Balavad Dyuta. This is a forced game of Dyuta that they have brought me into. There's no point in arguing. I cannot go against the rules of against the wishes of Dhritarashtra, because he is like my father and the emperor. If he has sanctioned it, I cannot go against it. So he yields to play. And then, so says, okay, let me play. So since Duryodhana, you are asking, I have no choice, I will play. And Duryodhana says, I will have my mama Shakuni play on my behalf. Whatever he says, if he gambles anything on my behalf, I am responsible for it. Whatever he gambles, I will give. I am taking full responsibility. But he is playing on my behalf. So again, Dharmaraja realizes this is not right at all. You don't have somebody else play on your behalf. But then, what to do? In front of the whole Sabha, everybody is saying like that, and they are all agreeing. Nobody is going against it. Then this terrible game of Juda begins. So one by one, they start. Beginning itself, Duryodhana puts so much wealth on the table. All the wealth that he has, all the palaces that he has, I am putting that as my gamble. Then similarly, Dharmaraja says, all the wealth that Arjuna brought from the north, I am putting that as my wager in this round, like that. And immediately, Shakuni is a Maya Dyutakara. So he is has some special vara with which he can never lose with the dice that he has. So with those dice he'll be playing, and whatever he plays, he always wins. So one by one, everything, the Dharmaraja starts losing. He will be bidding more and more wealth, more palaces, more, all the tremendous wealth and splendor that he has. He starts wagering everything, starts losing everything. Then Vidura is seeing this in dismay. Bhishma, the great Bhishma, Dronacharya, they don't know what to do. By dharma, they have to follow the rules of the emperor. They cannot do anything. Vidura is the minister. So he advises Dhritarashtra. He keeps whispering in his ear. The blind king is not able to see anything. At a distance, all this is happening. He cannot even hear what wagers are happening properly. Vidura tells him, this is terrible thing that you are allowing happen. Great misfortune is going to befall this kingdom. He is going in a completely adharmic path, your son. At least now stop him, banish him immediately. Get him to, what he is doing in front of you is totally unacceptable. Banish him from the kingdom right now. Stop it at least now. Like that, he whispers into the ears of Duryodhana. And Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra doesn't listen. He turns he doesn't listen to him at all. Deaf, he gives him a deaf ear. He doesn't listen to him at all. And then the helpless Vidura then turns to Duryodhana and asks to stop this deceit. Then he has to speak up. Nobody is speaking up. So he speaks up and tells Duryodhana, what you're doing is extremely adharmic. This is not right. In every way, you're creating a great danger for this whole kingdom by this behavior. Stop it immediately. Then, so the Duryodhana says, you keep quiet. Duryodhana is now so overcome with pride and that joy of winning, that he is winning against Dharmaraja. And he is totally overcome with pride and arrogance. He says, you sharp. You are like a beggar staying in our house, getting food from our family, and you are daring to go against us. Like that, he starts insulting Vidura. Vidura says, I am a minister here. To say what is unpleasing, but which is true, is my duty. Because only by saying, even if it is unpleasing, if I tell you the truth, a pleasing result will follow. Just because it is pleasing to an emperor's ears, I can't say something that is untrue, which will cause disaster. It is my duty as a minister, I am speaking. But then they ask him to shut up and sit down. So that way, very insulting behavior goes on. And then he continues, and they continue the game of Judah. Dharmaraja loses everything. Then he has nothing left. Then they prod him. So one by one, he starts bidding his brothers. So he bids Sahadeva, then Nakula, then Arjuna, and then Bhima. All of them he loses. All of them become dasis, slaves of Duryodhana, because that is the bid. Now that is like his wealth, his brothers. Then finally he bids himself. And he loses himself also. So even he has become a dasi of the Dhritarashtra's. Then he is totally devastated, hangs his head in shame. He doesn't know what to do. He is very crestfallen. And says, now I have nothing left. Then Shakuni taunts him. What do you mean you have nothing left? You still have one thing left, one wealth left. You have your wife Draupadi. She is also like a wealth to you. She is your wife. You should bid her also. And in that dismal moment, Dharmaraja bids Draupadi also and loses. So then these people start screaming, laughing. Duryodhana, Dusyasana, Shakuni, Karna, all of them are laughing with joy and glee. And Duryodhana, with his arrogance, orders Vidura, go and get Draupadi now. She is our slave. Go get her. Then Vidura says, this is, you are causing the complete destruction of this is totally unacceptable. And so he expresses his opinion. Then Duryodhana says, this Vidura will never listen to us. He is completely biased towards Pandavas. Then he sends a guy called Pratikami. And this Pratikami goes to one of their attendants called Pratikami. He goes to the Draupadi, who is inside in the Antapura, and goes and conveys the news to her. Oh my Highness, Dharmaraja played a game of Juda with Duryodhana and he lost everything. And therefore, because he has lost everything, including you, they have asked me to go and bring you to the Sabha, because all of you have become the dasis of Duryodhana. And Draupadi is shocked. She says, never in history have I heard of any king, any husband bidding his wife in a game of Juda. What has happened? Okay, if this is what has happened, then do you know the answer to my question? I'll ask you one question. Did Dharmaraja first lose himself and then bid me? Or did he first bid me and then lose himself? That was a very, very serious dharmic question that Draupadi posed to, showing all her dharmic knowledge immediately. Because did he lose himself and then bid me? If he already lost himself, where is the question of bidding her? Because she is Ardhangi. She is part of him. How can he then bid her? Did he bid her first? How can he? He can never bid his wife. That is not dharma. So either way, it is not dharma. So she gives that dharma sukshma question. How could he bid me? Either case, he could not have bid me. So find out and come. So he doesn't have, if you know, you tell me. If not, you find out. Go to the Sabha and ask this question. So Pratikami goes back to the Sabha and asks the question. And all the Kuruvruddhas, Dhritarashtra have no answer. They are all silent. But the arrogant Duryodhana says, oh, she has these kind of questions. Oh, and she's not coming. Oh, Dussasana, you grab her and come bring her here. And he orders Dussasana to go get her. This terrible sequence follows disastrous sequence in the how suddenly things turn completely topsy-turvy in this story of Mahabharata because of the great terrible greed, jealousy and arrogance of Duryodhana. So we'll continue what happens. All of you know the story, but this is the sequence that happens. We'll talk about it next time and then continue towards the end of this amazing Sabha Parva, full of sabhas and the incidents that happen within these sabhas. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet.